Now stateside in my studio, I took him out of probably a very important meeting with probably his favorite couple of drinks. Is Piers Morgan. Piers, great to see you.
Great to see you, Brian.
Fantastic.
You remain the only man who can get me out on a Saturday night onto television rather than some fancy restaurant. Thank you.
It's at the top of my resume. Where do you see, as just being here a week, you went to the MSG rally. Very curious where you see it.
Look, I think it's fascinating. It's electrifying, right? The whole world is watching this election. I remember a period about 5 months ago when everyone feared it might be the most boring race in history. Two old guys duking it out again. How wrong were we? We've had 2 assassination attempts. We've had Trump in a garbage truck, Trump in McDonald's, like you said. We've had Joe Biden getting assassinated politically by his own party and replaced by Kamala Harris, and so on. And now it's like on a knife edge, isn't it? I mean, you look at all these swing states, and really, you can't call any of them with any great authority. You know, tonight there's an outlier poll about Iowa that shows maybe Harris is up there. I don't believe that.
It was 15 points. Trump was up, and now it just had the Des Moines Register put her up.
That doesn't seem right. And there's another poll in Iowa which has Trump heavily ahead. Look, my gut feeling, and I had this in 2016, and when I was saying it and writing it in 2016, people were laughing at me. But I kept saying, I'm getting a feeling that the Trump train is steaming to victory. I get that feeling again now. I've been in LA, I've been in New York. I'm getting a lot of people who did not vote Trump last time, but who are prepared this time, even if they don't like him, they're prepared to vote for him this time to stop Kamala Harris becoming president. I'm going on my gut, and I'm feeling he could actually end up winning quite big.
And Piers, you're not new to the Trump train. I mean, you guys have sparred together. You and Trump, you've been friends for a while, but you also disagree to each other's face, which is relatively unique. But this is what you said to us a short time ago about what you thought, if Trump could come out and win, what it would mean. Watch.
It is one of the great comebacks in political history. And I read a column for The Sun in London this week likening it to when Sinatra was thrown to the wolves in the late 40s, thought his career was over, all done and dusted. And then, boom, he comes back from here to eternity. He wins an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor, and his career becomes one of the most iconic in the history of American celebrity show business. Donald Trump is on the verge of pulling off a similar comeback.
You're not backing up those comments.
Well, I think the word Nostradamus should be used there, shouldn't it? Look, I think I would compare it actually to what happened with Tiger Woods in golf. Tiger Woods was finished. He was number 1,100 in the world. Everyone was writing him off. The golf world, the celebrity world. He was done, toast, finished, kaput. And what happened? Tiger Woods didn't get the memo. And he fought back and he won the Masters in 2019. Greatest comeback in the history of sport. If Trump pulls this off, and it is obviously incredibly close, but I think he will pull this off. And if he does, it is the greatest comeback in the history of politics. He becomes the Tiger Woods of politics. And it would be an extraordinary thing. We can remember, can't we? Start of 2022, it was over. You know, Ron DeSantis was surging away in the polls for the Republican nominee, and Trump was gone, done. Look at him now. It's incredible.
He was by himself in Mar-a-Lago, and now he's got a better team around him than ever before. The other question I had, that only you can answer, is what's the rest of the world think about him as a leader? Because we keep hearing that the rest of the world didn't like him. But I talked to the president of Poland, loves the guy. And then I talked to Prime Minister Boris Johnson this week. And I said, honestly, he's got a book out. He really likes you. You have this very similar accent. This is what he said about Trump as a global leader that he saw.
I had a good relationship with him.
With Donald Trump?
Yeah. And people, you know, liberal friends of mine in the UK kind of freak out when I say this, but I enjoyed his company. No, actually,
do you like him as a person or do you like him as a leader?
Yes.
Do you like him as a leader?
So I'm here as a terrible, I'm going to confess that I both, right? And I've always found him the model of kind of old world courtesy and charm.
And he thinks the world needs a strong leader in America.
I think a lot of people feel that. I think a lot of people think 2 things. One, that Trump, in his own blunt way, take NATO, for example. What did Trump do with NATO? He was misquoted as saying he wants to get rid of it. No, he didn't. He said, look, if America's going to pay the big lion's share of the costs of NATO, you will have to stump up and pay what you're supposed to be paying, and you're not. What's happening now? Have you noticed? Every other NATO country is now paying what they should have been paying. That is billions of dollars they wouldn't have been paying if Trump hadn't rattled the American saber of power. And America does that because America, in the end, has to do most of the heavy lifting. So I think Trump has a blunt way of going about things, yes. Sometimes his rhetoric can be it can be controversial, it can be disappointing if you like him. Sometimes you groan and go, don't say that, Donald. But actually on the world stage, a lot of world leaders that I've talked to and interviewed, they have a respect for him. They do think he's a tough character. They do think he gets stuff done. And they do think this weird way he goes about dealing with people like Putin, like President Xi, like Kim Jong-un. He brings them in, if you like. And I think it's quite an effective tactic. You get these dictators, these very controversial foreign leaders. Trump gets them in, he sits down with them, he treats them with respect. Makes it quite tricky for them to pull stunts on his watch, and they didn't.
Right. I also think that a lot of the issues he ran on in 2016 are more apropos today. Build a wall. Oh, we're not going to build a wall. Get rid of sanctuary cities. Oh, you're so mean. Almost every sanctuary city is going, how did it get so bad? And how did we not finish that wall?
And what are the two big issues? Economy, immigration. What are the two things that the American voters in all the polls I've seen trust most with Trump over Harris? Immigration and the economy. They believe he will get this cost of living crisis over and done, and they believe with immigration he'll be tougher than she is. And if in the end he wins, it will be because of those two issues.
All right, I have bad news for Del Frisco's or the Hard Rock. Piers is coming.
Elio's.
All right, and that's where you're going? Okay, that's where you're going right after?
I'm actually running a couple of minutes late. So if you wouldn't mind just wrapping this, Brian, I've got a meal to go to.
Well, I don't have a live audience, so I'll do it by myself. By the power vested in me, you are free to go. Piers, thanks so much.
Great to see you.
I'm honored you kicked us off.
It's going to be a fascinating few days.
And I'm so glad you're in our studio at 1211.
It's a massive studio. How do they give you one this big?
This is what I demand.
Did they think I was coming in soon?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You have certain demands and I have certain demands. Thanks so much, Piers.
Great to see you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.